The following podcast is unedited, and it's unedited because it took us four tries to go through this to get it done. And mistakes were made, and flubs were flubbed, and we even flubbed the flubs. I'm even flubbing this. I'm not even going to edit this. When I say Romans, I mean Hebrews. That's how bad it is. So when I say Romans, it's Hebrews. I really mean Hebrews. But it's just not edited, but it is out there because we're committed to getting something out every week. And this is what we got this week. And because of personal situations, personal schedules, being up all hours of the night for several nights in a row, getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning, several mornings in a row, unavoidable stuff, technical difficulties, connectivity difficulties, all that kind of stuff. It is what it is. Enjoy it. Maybe you'll like the unedited version. I don't know. Have a great one.
All right. Picture this. You show up for an elite 543 mile ultra. Let me start that over. Picture this. You show up for an elite 543 mile ultra marathon. You have trained, you have carb loaded, you have gotten your high tech gear, your nutritionist, your support crew, and then this old farmer in overalls and workbook shuffles up to the starting line like he's misplaced his cows or something. And you think, oh, bless his heart, he must be lost. Somebody should point him back to the parking lot. But 5 days later, he wins the race. And that, my friends, is the story of Cliff Young that we're going to be talking about today on Absolutely But. Got it. Bill, you shoved this story in my face a couple of days ago, and I read it and I was astonished by it. And I'm so glad we're doing it today. So, this old dude in Australia shows up for a 500-mile plus race, foot race, marathon, like running. Tell me about it.
Jamie, I'm going to brag because I did the 16-mile Grand Lake to Bear Lake hike twice, both in my 60s. And I died 14 miles into both of them, but I finished. But that's just me. Cliff is crazy, but he's a guy. From what we understand, he's a guy that would chase his cows or his sheep around his farm, sometimes for up to 3 days at a time, rounding them up. Which tells me one thing: he couldn't afford to train a dog. That's what I thought.
Or a truck, or a tractor, or something.
And he shows up at this race like he's just gonna do it. He just wants to finish, and obviously the world thinks he's crazy. But
Sure.
The story goes he doesn't know that much about the race, and he didn't realize that he was allowed to sleep. So most of the runners were running for 18 hours and sleeping for 6. And Cliff just ran. You know, when guys were sleeping for 6 hours, he was just plodding along. It reminds me of the tortoise and the hare.
That's exactly what I was going to say. That sounds like a la Tortoise and the Hare.
Taking a rest, taking a break, getting your Nike sponsorship going down. Just before they start every day after 6 hours sleep, they pose for selfies and pose for media and get their product shots in. And Cliff,
let me interject something here real quick.
Yeah.
So thinking about it from the hare's perspective, right? So if you read the story, Tortoise and the Hare, the tortoise knows without a doubt that it has the race won. Like, there's no way a tortoise can beat me. So runs, gets the huge lead, but then lets kind of ego take over, right? I've got this, and takes a little bit of extra time taking the selfies and signing autographs and sleeping and eating and doing whatever, anything other than the race, because I got this.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, there's a difference between Cliff and the tortoise and the hare, because the tortoise and the hare, there were just two runners, and and they knew each other. They just didn't realize what was, the hare had ego, the tortoise had perseverance. And in this race, my guess was at the very thought they never even made a second look at Cliff.
No. I'm sure not.
No sponsor, no nothing. Just seriously, I just want to see if I can finish the race. Exactly. I just want to see if I can finish the race. And
So how's the story? How's the story end up playing out then?
well, Cliff wins the race. Second place came in, they say, 10 hours after Cliff, because Cliff just didn't stop running. He won the race. He didn't even know there was prize money. There was $10,000 prize money. He didn't even realize that there was prize money. He finished the race, and he gave the prize money away to the next 5 runners to come in so that they could split it at, I guess, 2,000 apiece or whatever the case may be. He just wanted to show that he could finish the race, which brings me to one thing that we all need to really take to heart. Age is just a number.
Mm.
He's 61 years old.
Yeah.
Nobody thought twice about him. Age is just a number. If you're saying I'm too old to do this, or I'm too old to do that, or I'm too old, I'm in the twilight of my years and I'm just gonna not try. Age is just a number. There's got to be desire, and that's what Cliff had.
He ran 543 miles.
That's impressive.
In 5 days.
That's impressive. Yeah.
I don't know if I could drive 543 miles.
I'd stop at Buc-ee's.
Well, yeah, you have to stop at Buc-ee's.
Right. And I'd stop for this and that, and I'd take a break, and yeah. I mean, I could drive that in a day, but I don't want to anymore.
Right.
I don't have the desire. But for us, age is just a number. My thought is that I'm going to be doing stuff like this until the day that I die.
Yeah, and I love that, right? Like, I think that we have to consider that note. Like, if there's something you still want to go do, don't worry about what age you are. Just go do it. Just start it.
But
it doesn't matter.
Right.
But there's another piece. Oh, go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
But then there's another piece to this too. Is like, as I was reading the article about Cliff White, and he had this almost, they called it the Cliff Shuffle. And it was just the technique he used when he was in the fields after after the sheep and things like that, where what they ended up finding out was there was it was actually energy saving. It used less energy than it did to actually just a regular normal run. So he had this little gait that was a shuffle, and by doing it, he actually conserved some of his energy. But I think the piece to that becomes really important is, like, he just didn't give up then, right? He just kept going. Whether he knew he was allowed to sleep or not, or he just didn't figure he needed to sleep, whatever the story really is kind of beside the point. But for 5 days, he just kept running. He just never stopped, right? So, like, age isn't a number. Or age is only a number. So if you want to do something, go do it. Don't worry about how old you are. And then 2, once you start, don't stop.
Yeah. To quote Dave Gambrell, start and stop stopping. And that was Cliff. But you mentioned something talking about his unique running style, his shuffle. Some people don't start something because they don't know the techniques or the the right way to do it. And unconventional strategies can win. No matter what you're talking about, you come up with a new strategy or whatever, and unconventional can win. Remember, everything done for the first time was first unconventional.
It is unconventional. Well, there's kind of 2 pieces of that, Bill. One is, I don't know how to do it the right way, so I'm not going to do it, right? Or I'm going to prevent myself. So there's a little bit of that piece. But there's also, I have a way that I do it, but what if they laugh at me? Or what if it doesn't work? Or what if what if it's not good enough? So I think there's almost 2 sides to that unconventional approach. One is, I don't know how to do it, quote unquote, the right way, or the way that I do it may not be good enough.
Right.
Or I might be embarrassed, or whatever the case may be.
And when it comes to other people, I'm going to quote Bill Murray. It just doesn't matter. Name that movie.
I don't know off the top of my head.
But anyway, he just says over and over again, he's teaching. It's the summer camp, and he's just teaching the kids about something. It just doesn't matter. When you think about it, it just doesn't matter. I know the stuff that I did at summer camp today just doesn't matter.
Does that matter?
What other people think, it just doesn't matter. It only matters that you are willing to run the race, and when you start, you don't stop.
Yeah.
How much simpler can that be?
But and I think there's this little piece of that we maybe glossed over. You said it, but he didn't even know there was prize money.
Right.
And he just kind of shuffles up to the start finish line or the start line before the race is, and as a result,
Time.
he was not in this to win.
Time.
You went blank.
Yep.
You went bye.
Go.
There you go.
So
there's this other piece that
right.
you mentioned, but I think we might have just kind of went over it with really not digging into it. It was like he didn't know there was prize money. He just shows up with work boots and overalls, so he really didn't come prepared to win a race, quote unquote, right? And he has this unconventional approach. So he just showed up, and I think there was something in the article he shared with me, like he just showed up to see if he could do it. He wasn't in it to win it. He was just in it to see if he could actually do it. And I think sometimes, like, strip the ego out of it and just do it because you want to do it.
Some people won't try it because they don't. If I can't win, I won't run. And that brings up another quote from a movie, Chariots of Fire, where the one runner gets beat for the first time in his life. And he sits and he's moping in the stands with his girlfriend. And he says, if I can't win, I won't run. And she's wiser than he is. And she says, if you don't run, you can't win. Beat him the next time. But that's not Cliff. That's a good quote, but that's not Cliff. Cliff was, it wasn't about winning. It was about doing it. And that's the thing that we need to grab hold of. It's not about being better than the other guys or beating the other guys or being the best podcast in the world. It's just going to be your podcast. And our next podcast is just going to be a little better than the last podcast every single time we try it. So just keep moving. Just keep going. Just be Cliff. Cliff had grit.
So be Cliff. So let me see if I can kind of summarize this a little bit. So 61-year-old wins a 543-mile ultramarathon race, not even trying to win it, right? So what's our takeaways? I think we have, number one, age is just a number. So if there's something you want to do, if there's something inside of you that it's like just driving you to go do it, just do it. It doesn't matter what age you are, just go do it. Two is don't stop. Once you start, just don't stop. And don't worry what the other people are doing. Just keep after it. Three, unconventional can be great. Don't worry about if your way is the best way or not the best way. Just apply it and see what happens and then learn from it. And then I think the last piece of what we just talked about is like, don't let the ego get in the way. Do it for you.
I love it. And just to sum up, I'm going to put a challenge out to everybody, even you, Jamie, because I don't know that you know this. Look up Romans 12, 1 and 2. Read it aloud. And then take away the comma and read that verse. Made you think, didn't I? So Romans 12, 1 and 2, and then read Romans 12 and 12. Do not get the two mixed up, but both of them are very important. You'll know what I mean when you look it up, and you'll think of Cliff a little bit. So finish ugly if you have to, but finish.
Very good.
Yeah. Are we done?
So if you like this, make sure you comment, like it, share it, do whatever it is you're supposed to do with social media stuff. We'd appreciate it. Yeah. I'm Jamie French. That right there, that'd be a Bill McDonald.
Wait. Let's do that again because I had just one of us.
Oh.
Dang it. Do the ending again.
All right. Hey, if you like this, comment, share, like it, do what you do with social media stuff. All the things that everybody tells you to do that for us. We'd appreciate it. Hey, I'm Jamie French. That right there, that's a Bill McConnell.
And that's Jamie French. Bye.